The laws and regulations governing spaza shops have been brought to sharp focus. And this comes after 2 children in Soweto died after consuming biscuits bought from a local spaza shop, and their devastated families are still seeking answers. Traces of organophosphate, a chemical also found in rat poison, have been found in samples of these food products, and authorities say more samples have been taken to the laboratory as investigations continue. eNCA reporter Bafedile Moerane is in Soweto tracking that story. Good afternoon to you, Bafedile. And just an update, it is very tragic, of course, that there had been a loss of life of 5 children who had perished because of these food products. And it's been a call that South Africans have been making in regulating the spaza shops, particularly those that are run by undocumented foreign nationals. What can you tell us in terms of what's happening in Soweto at the moment?
Well, the community of Soweto is really furious. As we're seeing now today, community members will be joining ANC Youth League here in Moerane, having to march to Naledi Police Station, where they are going to hand over a memorandum of demands, among others having to call to the police to work together with government authorities to ensure that the bylaws are adhered to regulate the spaza shops. They are crying foul, having to say that for a very long time it has been unlawful spaza shops that are mushrooming in most instances here in townships, and having to be subjected to consume not good things at all, expired things. Earlier on, when I was speaking to Gareth, I had bought the cooking spices from some of them. I think I went to about 3 different tuck shops in Johannesburg CBD in Mayfair, where I've bought those cooking spices, and they expired. The other one expired in 2021 June, the other one in November 2022, and the vinegar that I was carrying, it does not have an expiry date altogether. This has really put a spotlight into the rules and the regulations that we understand has to be enforced by the local municipalities or the metros. But at this point, let me be joined by Sipho Kazi Duma. She is the ANC Youth League spokesperson in the Greater Gauteng. You have organized this march, Sipho Kazi, today in solidarity with the families that are devastated at this point in time after losing their children. What does your memorandum entail, and what is it that you want to see government doing?
Firstly, as the ANC Youth League in Johannesburg, we want to extend our sincerest condolences to the families that have lost their children in this tragic incident. And secondary to that, we also want to extend strength to the families who have the children that are still in hospital, and we wish them a speedy recovery. But in terms of today's march and the memorandum behind it, I think we have noted that not only in this community but in many communities across Johannesburg and across the country, we have this issue of illegal spaza shops, like you said, that mushroom out of nowhere and cause a danger to our communities. And we've seen it in the most horrific way now in Naledi, where we've had a tragic loss. So I think the main factor and the main point of our memorandum is to say that we want these and every spaza shop in communities to be regulated. We can't just have people randomly popping up and selling products to communities, products that are consumed, most importantly, by communities, that are not regulated, that do not have expiry dates, and no one does anything about it. So I think with this march, we just want to make a statement to say that as the Youth League in Greater Johannesburg, we will not stand by and watch more youth leaguers die. We will not stand by and watch community members not being respected by these shop owners who sell them these products.
I believe that you engage with community members here. What are they saying? What's happening in those spaza shops? Earlier on, I think you heard me saying that in Johannesburg CBD, there's an expired product that are being sold. What's the problem here that you encounter in most instances as the residents of Soweto?
So I'm not a resident of Soweto, so I'm not going to speak on their behalf, but some of the issues that we have noted from the residents is that it goes to an extent where these shop owners remove the expiry dates on some of the products, or there is no expiry date on the products. It also goes to the packaging that some of these things are sold in, where packaging that I don't think is even regulated because there's no expiry date. So I think that's where we need now the government to intervene and ensure that products that are delivered to these shops, before they can be sent into the community for community consumption, that they're checked, that they're of standard. And it's also important because we cannot guarantee that young kids such as these that have tragically passed away are going to check those expiry dates. So as long as you have laws in place to protect even the most vulnerable, being the children in the community, so that is exactly what we are calling for.
Well, thank you so much, Sipoka Siduma. She is the spokesperson of the ANC Youth League in the Greater Gauteng, as you had indicating to us that they want to ensure that the law is enforced. They want to ensure that the bylaws are adhered to, in particularly having to call on government officials. Here in this point, we're talking about the health and environmental officials, in particular from municipalities. So later on, we will try to engage, get the response from the relevant authorities as to what have they been doing. Are they really following this to the latter? Until to this point, where we are seeing young lives being cut short in such a horrible way. So, Cindy, we're expecting the march to resume here in Moerane, to proceed to Naledi police station, where they're going to hand over the memorandum of demands very soon.
Bafedile, just very quickly, we also had reports earlier that the spaza shops that are run by foreign nationals have been shut down in Soweto and Greater Soweto. Can you confirm that with us? And if there is, or any reports of violence perhaps that may have sprung out?
Not all of them have been closed, yeah, but majority have been closed. Earlier on, I engaged Operation Dudula, because we know that they have been at the forefront, having to say that they do have problems with the regulations of these mushrooming spaza shops. They have been at the forefront, having to go. We saw them in the past year, having to go in a number of spaza shops, in particular here in Soweto, having to check on the expiry dates and what is being sold in a number of spaza shops. So we understand that according to Operation Dudula, the allegations that majority of the spaza shop owners are actually working with the police, and they are saying that they are not going to allow the situation to be in that way. So we will also engage the police officials to hear from them as to what's the response in relation to these allegations leveled against their officials who are supposed to actually secure or make sure that the residents on the ground are really safe. Later on, also we'll also be engaging with Operation Dudula.
We're going to have to leave it there, colleague. Thank you indeed. And that's Bafedile Moerane. She's out in Soweto, where currently members of the community and the ANC Youth League and other organizations are marching to the Naledi police station to hand over a memorandum of grievances against the illegally run and operated spaza shops that have now tragically led to the death of 5 children and some others still being in hospital.